Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, has said that the Kenya High Court ruling declaring the arrest and subsequent transfer of the detained IPOB leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to Nigeria has placed a permanent and indelible legal stain on the persons of former Kenya President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Nigeria President Muhammadu Buhari, alongside the former Nigeria Attorney General of Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami. IPOB spokesperson Emma Powerful made this known in a statement issued in reaction to the verdict of a federal high court sitting in Nairobi, the Kenya state capital, presided over by Justice E.C. Mwita, who on June 24, 2025 ruled that the governments of Kenya and Nigeria violated Nnamdi Kanu's human rights. Delivering judgment, Justice E.C. Mwita held that the actions of both the Kenya and Nigeria governments amounted to gross violations of Kanu's fundamental human rights as protected by their respective constitutions. The court also awarded Kanu 10 million Kenyan shillings in compensatory damages against the Kenyan government for its role in the unlawful abduction and rendition. Justice E.C. Mwita held that, having considered the pleadings and arguments by parties, the decisions relied on the Constitution and the law, I come to the following conclusions. First, the government of Kenya violated the Constitution and Mr. Nnamdi Kanu's rights and fundamental freedoms. Having entered Kenya lawfully, he was subject to the protection offered by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and the government of Kenya had an obligation to uphold and protect his rights and fundamental freedoms. Mr. Nnamdi was, however, abducted, kept in solitude confinement, tortured and denied food and medication, a breach of basic rights. He was chained, humiliated, ridiculed and held in contempt, and later forcibly removed from Kenya without following the law, in violation of his rights and fundamental freedoms, for which the government of Kenya is liable. Based on the above conclusions, the court makes the following declarations and orders it considers appropriate. A declaration is hereby issued that the abduction of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, holding him in incommunicado confinement, torturing him and denying him food, water, medication and other basic necessities, was a violation of his rights and fundamental freedoms. A declaration is hereby issued that the abduction and subsequent forcible removal of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria was in violation of the laws of Kenya, his rights and fundamental freedoms, including freedom of movement and security of the person guaranteed by the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, and, therefore, unconstitutional and illegal. An order for compensation is hereby issued awarding Mr. Nnamdi Kanu general damages KSH's 10,119,546,576 Nairas.79 against the Attorney General of Kenya on behalf of the Government of Kenya for the violation of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu's constitutional rights and fundamental freedoms. Reacting, the Indigenous People of United States, U.S. billionaire and one of the major prominent persons that campaigned with his own resources for the return of President Donald Trump to the White House for a second tenure, Elon Musk has again condemned the latest version of tax and spending bill presented by President Trump as released by the U.S. Senate, describing the president policy as utterly destructive that will destroy millions of jobs in the U.S. and caused a strategic harm to the country. This, Elon Musk stated on Saturday. Barely few weeks he settled feud with President Trump after he had openly rejected the bill and criticized the policy, which sparked serious concerns between both, who had continued for days to lash out on each other with words on social media. Elon Musk made the latest expression of strong disapproval against the tax spending policy on Saturday in a comment he made in reaction to an ex-social media tweet of Jesse D. Jenkins he reshared on his personal verified ex-social media handle. Jesse D. Jenkins had tweeted that the new Senate draft raises taxes on all wind and solar projects that haven't begun construction today unless they are placed service by end of 2027 and navigate complex, likely unworkable requirements to prove they don't use a drop of Chinese materials. After that, this bill adds a new tax on wind and solar projects that can't prove the same. Reacting, Elon Musk tweeted and said, the latest Senate draft bill will destroy millions of jobs in America and cause immense strategic harm to our country. Utterly insane and destructive, it gives handouts to industries of the past while severely damaging industries of the future. It would be recalled that after the verbal altercations between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, the US billionaire, Elon Musk says on X that he regrets some of the barbs he posted as he and President Trump traded insults on social media, saying, "They went too far." Hours after Musk posted about regretting his comments, the New York Post published a pre-taped interview with Trump in which he said he had no hard feelings toward Musk. Trump had described the spending legislation as the big beautiful bill, while Musk said Trump wouldn't have won the election without him and accused him of undermining the work of Doge in cutting billions from federal budgets. The feud occurred less than a week after President Trump and Musk lavished praise on each other in the Oval Office. Trump had celebrated Musk's work as the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, overseeing the slashing of billions of dollars in federal spending. Speaking at his send-off at the White House before the feud ensued, the US president called Musk one of the greatest business leaders and innovators the world has ever produced. Just want to say that Elon has worked tirelessly helping lead the most sweeping and consequential government reform program in generations, he added. In reply, Musk, who was presented with a golden key featuring the White House insignia, said he would continue to visit Trump as a friend and advisor. Looking around the room at Trump's new golden decorations, according to local media, the entrepreneur said, "The Oval Office finally has the majesty that it deserves, thanks to the president." The bill, which narrowly passed the House of Representatives last month but faces challenge, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has sought the help of Pope Leo XIV to prevail on President Vladimir Putin of Russia to release Ukrainian children and women held in Russia, saying, "The government of Russia held the children and women against their will," while he thanked the Pontifex for his continued prayers and compassion for the people of Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy made the request on Saturday when he commented on Pope Leo XIV tweet on X social media, in which the Pope had expressed sadness and sympathy for the people killed in Ukraine. Pope Leo XIV in the X social media tweet had said, "I express my closeness to martyred Ukraine, to the children, the young people, the elderly, and especially to families who mourn their loved ones. I share your sorrow for the prisoners and victims of this senseless war." President Zelenskyy through his verified X social media handle responded to the post and said, "Thank you, Your Holiness at Pontifex, for your continued prayers and compassion for Ukraine and our people. Together we must stop this wanton Russian aggression and protect innocent lives. A just peace is needed, and we would also deeply appreciate your kind help in bringing back all our people, adults and children, held in Russian captivity against their will." Meanwhile, President Zelenskyy also on Saturday in a statement to mark the 2025 Constitutional Day of Ukraine, wrote and stated that, "Today, we are marking Constitution Day of Ukraine, the constitution of our state, our nation. The first word of its first article is Ukraine, and this reflects our ultimate goal, our mission. Ukraine is, and will be, on earth. Ukrainians are, and will be, on earth. This is both our goal and our shared duty. It is the mission of everyone for whom Ukraine truly comes first, of those who cannot imagine their lives without Ukraine, and without whom Ukraine can no longer be imagined. We are a state of millions. But for us, millions have never been and will never be just a mass of people. This is a nation made up of citizens who have the strength to stand up for what they believe in and what they strive for. And that is precisely why Ukraine stands. Ukraine is millions of names we are proud of. Ukraine is the choice our people make every day. It is millions of actions and feats that together are Ukraine. The social contract between all of us is this: Ukraine comes first. Ukrainians, our independence, our rights, our dreams, the dreams of our entire people, come first. And when we say this, these words carry power, because these are not words about something abstract, but about real people, real deeds, and a real path that has been endured. About all of us, about the citizens who breathe life into Ukraine. Congratulations to all Ukrainians on Constitution Day of Ukraine. Our people are writing the pages of history and filling the pages of the Constitution with life. With their example, their deeds and feats, all of them are doing more than what is required by constitutional duty. They act not because the law demands it, but out of the call of the heart. That is precisely why we will undoubtedly defend our inalienable right to independence.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.